course, I would have liked it to be a bit more straightforward. I think just the conditions and everything made it pretty nasty. Just how wet it was at the hill on the first few laps made it pretty tricky. Like it wasn't flat for the first 2 laps, so not the nicest feeling. And just the fact that the Mercedes were very quick. You know, both Kimi and George, and Kimi kept me under pressure the whole race. So not I was just expecting us to be a little bit better, honestly. We know that they're fast, especially when it gets a bit cooler and the tyres are a bit harder to get into the good window. Mercedes are very quick. So we'll see what we can do later to try and gain a little bit more lap time.
You know, it was a good race. Overall, it was very intense. It was, quali session basically. You know, we were flat out, and it was tricky because obviously it was wet in the beginning, especially sector 1 was tricky, and then after the red flag, obviously it was much drier, but the wind picked up quite a lot, and it was difficult. But again, you know, following is always a bit hard. But yeah, I tried my best. I luckily couldn't, fell a bit short, but we'll focus on the qualifying now.
A very good race for us as a team, obviously second and third. The car was feeling good, and looking forward to the afternoon, but so close in qualifying. Again, yesterday there was a 10th and a half split in 4 or 5 cars, and ultimately with how challenging it is to overtake at the moment, if you're starting in P5 or below, you'll be difficult to fight for the podium. So we'll try and have a good afternoon.
I think we still maximize the results, so I guess that's positive. But of course, if you want to be more competitive, we need to find something now before qualifying. So we'll have a look what we can do.
It's been a frustrating race. We've had an issue with the straight line speed since the beginning of the weekend. We don't know where it's coming from. We know we are a bit higher downforce compared to the others, and it's logic that we are a bit slower, but there's a much bigger gap than what we would expect. And we don't have the explanation for now, so that makes overtaking very difficult. At the end, still managed to pass towards the end, but we need to find something for tomorrow.
I think 3 points for us is obviously they are very welcome, and it was a tough morning here. You know, we didn't have things easy from the beginning. You know, our box on the grid, P5 and P7, both Astons were quite wet compared to anyone else. So we lost a little bit of momentum on the start of the first one, and then on the red flag, I think we were on the good tire, the medium. Some people started with a soft. And then after the red flag, we have to choose, you know, what tire to put. Obviously, we don't have unlimited mediums to fit for tomorrow, and we have to switch. So the people starting on the soft went on the medium, and the people starting on the medium like us went on the soft. And I think it was a little bit of a disadvantage.
It was a good start. Fortunately, it was crazy because it didn't feel like a great getaway, but my line into turn 1 was really strong and well positioned, and managed to get through people. But then after that, you're stuck behind everyone. There's only one line. It's very slippery. Lots of snaps, so very, very tricky.
Extremely happy. I mean, it's been very difficult last few months, and we've been never really in a position to be fighting for top 10. And since the first lap this weekend, it's just been very, very strong. So I think the most important is really we have a lot of questions, not many answers at the moment on why we were that competitive, but I'm just happy because we come back every weekend, even though it's been a tough season, and we keep trying, and it's worth it because today we managed to get a point for the whole team, so I'm very happy.
The tyre's dying at the end, so probably we should have put the medium, but that's how it was.
Just a very poor start. The first standing start, we had I was glued to the grid, and then I was in a sandwich, got front wing damage as well, so it was a tricky run down to turn 1, and then honestly the pace throughout the race was okay, but obviously very difficult to overtake in the DRS train behind Gabriel.
It was a survival race, really. I mean, it's one of those that when you stay on track and you finish the race, you usually gain some positions. It was very, very hard. The track didn't dry up the whole race. We did gain quite a lot of positions. You know, every time something happened, we used the opportunity, and there was some good fights, you know, with Liam as well towards the beginning of the race. So, you know, it was a strong race. Hopefully, we can qualify a bit better to be in those positions straight away.
Honestly, qualifying in P15, it's tough to do much in a sprint race, even if that one was very chaotic. No point commenting about the incident in turn 4 in lap 1 because I should have known probably. not to go on the outside. But anyway, it's done. It's what we expected. You know, we weren't really expecting to come back to the points in a race like this. But the car was quick, and that gives me good confidence for tomorrow, and hopefully we can have a better quality this afternoon.
Can we start with that early contact with Ollie? What was your read on that, and then how your race developed from that point?
Yeah, I mean, I think he had a bad exit of 3. I don't know if he got pushed off or, but he was quite slow on the straight, so I had a big run, and I went to go to his left, and he just pushed me in the grass. And at that point, I think you're asking for an airplane crash. If you're, you know, we're doing 300 down the straight, and and it's wet, so we went into turn 4, and I have completely wet tires and struggled for grip, and we touched. So, yeah, I mean, it's lap 1. We're buried anyway. I'm not sure why the high risk. The gap was there when I went for it down the straight, and he just kept coming across to the left.
Main focus for myself was to get some good data. We took something different approach into this race to make our car overall better performance. I think this weekend, I think as a team we're struggling a little bit, particularly myself this weekend. But I think there are a lot more room that we can improve, and I saw some benefits and the negatives from this setup. So just put it all together and see how it goes.
We changed quite a lot of things on the setup to try and see if we can become more competitive, because we've been, I think, struggling a bit the whole weekend and we don't seem to be very quick. Now it's time to take our conclusions, see what we can do for the sprint. For the main quali, for me, the feeling is that Sauber and Aston are ahead of us this weekend and will be difficult to get into Q3. But yeah, we hopefully can put ourselves somewhere near there if we manage to improve the car, because it's been tricky.
Not much to talk about at the back. Obviously, you're not going to do anything. But no, I don't know, just a shame. Obviously, must have hit some sort of a dam patch, you know, just very suddenly lost the rear end. The team told me that probably, I think Oscar, who went off, you know, a few cars ahead of me, hit that curb and might have, you know, put a bit of water out on the circuit, and I just happened to, you know, somehow hit it in the wrong way and lost the car, unfortunately.
It looked like quite a scary moment with Gabby.
Yeah.
Can you talk us through that from your side, and then the rest of your race, how it unfolded?
Yeah, I hope he's okay. It was a big crash for sure. So yeah, I think I need to review the incident. I don't know if there's a portion of me there to have a look at, but generally speaking, the race was pretty poor. Same issues we've had in low fuel. We had it in high fuel, and high fuel makes everything worse. So we've got to try to turn the car around between now and then. The main thing is if we've got any damage as well to the car, because we don't have much time to prepare for qualifying. So yeah, I think frustrating.
Dipped a wheel on the white line of the curb, and yeah, around I went. So yeah, silly mistake really, or unfortunate mistake. So that's it.
I just lost the car in turn 3. I went through 2 and through 3, and I lost the car. I think there was some new water or something, because it's a bit strange. But I need to see on board and understand a bit better. But yeah, it's a pity. We were in a better position already, and the pace looked all right, so we need to come back stronger.